Unshackled Moms Alliance, get ready for a game changer. Today we're sitting down with the incredible Stacie Sadek, a powerhouse mom, author, and a genius behind the 15-minute goal. It's a strategy that's going to revolutionize the way you tackle your dreams in the chaos of mom life. Stacie knows firsthand the juggle of raising an ambitious little cheerleader while carving out time for her own passions. And she's here to show you that even the busiest of moms can make real progress just 15 minutes at a time. So grab your coffee or that half cup you've reheated like 6 times now and join us for a conversation that's going to inspire you to take action without overwhelm. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Hey, Stacie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So excited that you're here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, we both have kids that have been competitive. I've raised 2 boys. And I remember like the first time, CJ was like 6 and he was playing basketball and he lost the game and he just burst into tears. And it just like totally broke my heart. Like I am the only mom crying. I'm like, why am I crying that he like lost and that, he's just so upset. But I know that so how do you handle those situations with your daughter?
This actually happened last weekend. So perfect timing. Last weekend, my daughter competed in cheerleading and us moms, we were watching and we knew they were going to come in last. Let's be honest. We knew you were going to come in last. And so in between, I was talking to the cheerleaders and they're all under 12. And I said, how do you guys think you did? Without a beat, my little one said, well, Mom, I think we're going to come in first or second, but we knew. And I'm like, and you didn't want to shadow their dreams. You didn't want to break their heart. So I immediately went into it and I said, okay, well, that's great. And we're so proud of you. You girls have been working so hard. I said, well, let's talk about if you don't come in first or second.
Yeah.
And they're like, they kind of thought about it. I'm like, does that mean that you won? They're like, well, we've been working really hard. I'm like, and is that what it means to win? And without a beat, all of them said, yeah. So I'm like, and to us moms, we know that you're already winning because you've been trying, working, and you keep going. So we really switched what it meant to win.
Yeah. And, and they felt decent about it, right? They weren't like all feeling low and, mopey and what's wrong with us and all those kind of things. I love how you handled that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how have those experiences shaped both of you, especially, never mind, we just read that one. Anyway, okay. When did she learn about the art of losing well and how does that impact your perspective as a mom?
That's a good question. And looking back, so this is only her second year in cheer, but immediately I saw myself in her and I saw the red flags, like gotta be an A student, always have to win, gotta work harder than everybody else. And immediately I started to see the signs and Lord knows, Lisa, I wish growing up, somebody saw those signs in me and stopped me right there. Yep. And so now as a mom that experienced that type A personality, the high functioning anxiety, I can now pause and redirect what winning is, what success means, what failure means. And I wish somebody did that for me when I was younger.
It would have saved a lot of difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And growing up, it was you work hard, you play hard, do it right the first time, don't fail, there was a lot of pressure. And when I became an entrepreneur, I carried that pressure on into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So obviously we've talked a little bit about your cheerleader daughter. So tell me a little bit about the rest of your family.
It's crazy.
You just have a new baby, right? You have a new baby.
Yeah. So we recently, we have a 4-legged bull mastiff. He's 2 or about to be 3, I should say. He's the size of a horse. And then we just rescued a puppy, and she just turned 4 months, and she is like a 2-year-old. She is into everything. Um, it keeps you on your toes, but it's kind of funny because I'm like, it's springtime here. I want to be outside, and I'm so goal focused, want to sit there and get it all done in one sitting. Having a puppy really makes you get up, go for a walk, be outside, breathe in the fresh air. And that has taught me it's okay to slow down.
So, can you explain the concept of your 15-minute goal and why? Oh, wait. Before we get to that, tell me about the rest of your family. You have a husband? You have a partner? You have, what else do you have in your house?
Oh, yeah, I guess I should include him. Hey, so I do have a husband. He is in the garage right now doing boy things. He works in the oil field. We are an oil field company. I know that a lot of people are against that, and that's okay. It is who I am. I accept people who they are. But he's outside doing his thing right now. He's very, very supportive. And actually, I met him online, and I was one of those, and I'm sure others will relate. I never thought I'd meet my future husband online.
Yeah, interesting.
And I almost pushed him away. On our second date, I almost pushed him away. He was walking into my car to open the door, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? And we joke about it now, but I'm like, who is this freak? Why is he following me to my car? Little did I know he was trying to be a gentleman and open the door. So,
Single mamas, sometimes that online dating does work.
yeah.
So let's get in. Oh, go ahead.
It's so funny because you can't just go up to somebody in the grocery market and be like, those are some nice melons. Hey, can I get your phone number? Like, you don't do that.
So true. Which has changed. It used to be you could meet over apples at the grocery store.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know our whole world has changed. I know I have a friend who is a dating coach, and we're going to have her on here at some point. And she goes online for her clients and goes through and matches them that way. She's like a matchmaker, but she utilizes dating sites. So you don't have to look at all the profiles. She does that for you. Kind of an interesting concept. I had never heard of that.
What a game changer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Interesting. Okay, so let's get to the 15-minute goal. And so let's talk about what's the concept and a little bit about why it's so powerful.
So the 15-minute goal reset, bracket on bracket, it really comes into place when you have goals, you know what you need to be working on, but you feel so overwhelmed. And maybe your work duties have changed, or maybe your child's school calendar has changed. It really comes in those moments where you're like, oh no, how am I going to make this work now? And as a working entrepreneur, we're going to come across those situations weekly, daily, and it really helps you build the resilience. So the preface behind the 15-minute goal reset is take the next action item that you have to do. You have to find the time, eliminate your distractions, set the timer, and just get it done. And it helps build that habit. Makes it a routine. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So case in point, last week, I did not want to write my newsletter. I did not. I was so exhausted. So I closed my doors, set my timer for 15 minutes, let it be messy, didn't proofread, and I just let my thoughts go through my fingers onto the keyboard. And that timer rang, and I just kept going. And then afterwards, I celebrated. I evaluated. Okay, what did I get done in this 15 minutes? Then all too often, Lisa, we sit there and think, and then. And those are the two most dangerous words in goal setting. wait until this happens and then. So all too often we will wait until we reach the big milestone or do this, and then we'll celebrate. Celebrate the little wins. Celebrate the fact that, hey, you found 5 minutes today that you didn't think you were going to get.
Yeah. Yep. It's true, because being a mom could be so overwhelming, whether you're a single mom, you have a partner, you're in a relationship, whatever that looks like, because you are gifted this little human that, you love so much. And the idea of pouring into them and like freaking, making them have therapy for the rest of their lives is really real, right? So, so like you get so sometimes overwhelmed with those little pieces that it's like hard to even carve out those 5 minutes.
Yeah. And I remember when I became a mom. So I was actually a stepmom before I became a mom. That's an interesting fact about me. And I gave up every part of who I was. I loved to read. I loved working. I loved being outside. There was all this aspects. And I thought, I'm a mom now. I have to give it all up.
Yeah.
And like, even when she was napping, I'd be busy folding clothes, doing mom things, right? And I really missed reading. So I set my timer for 5 minutes. And it was those 5 minutes that changed the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you shared a little bit, but like overall in general, what does a reset look like in daily life? And then how can it help moms stay on track?
So the reset really comes in when you're feeling overwhelmed. You don't know how you're going to get it done. And it could be as simple as writing a newsletter, recording a podcast, mapping out a podcast, outlining your chapter book, whatever that little thing is that you keep procrastinating. Set your timer. Just get it done. Let it be messy.
I think I heard today that we spend like 7 or 8 hours a day on our phones, and it added up to like 14 years in your lifetime. Matt, like that is a huge chunk of time that you can do, and you can set goals and you can accomplish so much in just those, that little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. So here is a little something for your audience. If you're a mom and you find that, like many of us, we spend so much time on Facebook, social media, delete it off your phone. Keep it on your computer.
Yeah.
Delete it off your phone. And then when you do go online with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so easy to get sucked into those reels and just like scroll and scroll and scroll. Then you look up and an hour's gone by and the whole nap, your kids are down for a nap. You're going to do all this stuff. And now, oh my gosh, we're done. They're getting up because I spent so many times looking at, whatever the reels or whatever on.
And a lot of times, like with a 15-minute reset, if you're like me, or maybe you're not, I don't know. This is kind of a guilty thing of mine. I don't like folding clothes. I will have a pile of clothes that I have to fold. And in my head, it takes longer. So I will procrastinate. Then if I just hit my 15-minute timer, say, how much can I get done in 15 minutes? Chances are I can get that whole pile folded. It's like 10.
Well, and I think it's such a small chunk of time, right? So like 15 minutes in a 24-hour day seems maybe overwhelming, but it's just little. Like it just is. And even if, like you said before, if you do like 5 minutes, so for 5 minutes, I'm going to do whatever that is you want to do. Well, it's like 5 minutes, I'm going to lift weights, or for 5 minutes, I'm going to just do the dishes for 5 minutes, or like whatever that is for 5 minutes. Like that adds up, because I think sometimes you start with those 5 minutes and then the next thing you know, it's 7 minutes, or the next thing you know, it's 10 minutes. And pretty soon you're working yourself up to that 15-minute goal.
Yeah. And that brings me up to a really good point is whether you're becoming an entrepreneur, you're going after a goal in your career, or you have household goals, right? We're in a rush to get it done. We're in a rush to get it done.
Yep.
And we stack on so much on our plate that it's not achievable in the time we do. Everything you want to achieve is at 5-minute increments away.
Yep. Yep. I know a lot of
Nothing
times
happens overnight.
that's how I get my steps in during the day is I get up and I walk, I walk around and do 100 steps or whatever and sit back down, do whatever I work. And then I get up and do, it just like taking those small increments during the day makes such a humongous difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And to do 10,000 steps a day, doing it the way you just described is achievable. But for us to go, oh, I need to take the time out, do 10,000 steps all at once, that is, I don't want to say a waste of time, but it does consume up a lot of time all at once.
Yeah,
Break
absolutely.
It down.
And then you get
that.
surprised at how much you get done. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much more done. And it's just those tiny, small increments. So many moms do feel stuck. Like we're overwhelmed. We're like at our brink. How can you figure out what goals are really going to improve their lives? Like, how can we prioritize which goal to pick?
That is such a good question. So, and I've seen it out there on the internet. I'm sure if you Google the circle of life, I think is what it was called. And it was a pie chart, and you'd have financials, friendships, your home, your relationships, and there was kind of different pie charts. And each one, you can color it in based on a 0 to 10, where you feel it's at compared to where you want it to be. And I remember the first time I did this, Lisa, and this is when I became a mom, my friendships were at a 2 because I never left the house.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I need to improve that. So I looked at the ones that I wanted to improve based on how I felt. Financials and friendships, I think, were the 2 that I wanted to focus on.
So how do you balance your personal growth goals with the demands of parenting?
You don't. I don't know if anybody else is going to tell you this. You don't. With that whole, how do you balance? Immediately, we think, oh, it's on a balance scale. It's 50-50. The reality, it isn't. When your child is sick, you are 100% with your child. And when they're at school or they're napping, you can be 100% working in the moment on your goals. It's not 50-50 all the time. It's kind of give and take. But the biggest thing is let go of the expectations that you hold on yourself to maintain the standards that other people have put on you.
Yeah, that's really a good point, because I think a lot of times we do, especially as women, take on, the goals and the things that other people have put on us of what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to look like, what is supposed to, what we're supposed to achieve, whether it's in the workforce, whether it's at home, being the perfect mom, like wherever you are, the expectation is real.
Oh, we cut out a little bit, but I think you might be able to get it.
There you go. Okay, you're good. Now, yeah, you froze. So go ahead and do your thing.
So yeah, the expectations, and in the book, which I know we're going to be talking about here shortly, in the procrastination chapter, I talk about how we are not responsible for other people's emotions as we're going for goals that will better ourselves. And case in point, I know somebody that they wanted to lose 100 pounds, and the doctor specifically told them, look, you need to lose some weight or else you're going to die. Like, that was the stark reality.
Yeah.
But their husband felt very insecure. It's like, other men are going to look at you. And so she didn't want to go because it might upset or ruffle the feathers. And it wasn't until I said, look, you are not responsible for his emotions. If you're trying to better yourself so you can be there for your kids. That's on him
So you don't
to deal
die.
with his insecurities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I
really
mean,
hard. When you're in
it's
a home and your partner's not supportive of your goals. So what are some things that you can do if you're to help yourself know that you need to accomplish those goals for you versus, your spouse or your partner?
and I think looking back, and this is another thing we had to navigate, is make sure that you set a time, really good family time. No electronics. And maybe it's board games, or depending on your kids, maybe it's building blocks together or cooking a dinner together. But really set a time like Wednesday nights. This is what we're doing without fail. Then that way they still feel very important. Or include them in what you're doing. And for all those moms that do Zoom calls and your little one breaks in buck naked, look, it's not unprofessional. You are a mom, and other moms are going to relate to that.
Yeah.
And again, that's letting go of those expectations, but let them be involved in a very child appropriate or age appropriate way. Gone are the days of, I was going to say wearing pants during Zoom, but I am wearing pants today. But gone are the days of what does professionalism really mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So I am the mom, or that mom's out there who is like, I have tried goals, right? Like I have started and I've done really well and I have high expectations. And then I just struggle with follow through. What would you tell somebody like that?
Hmm. First of all, I just want to reach through and give you a hug, letting you know that there is so many other women like you, including myself. That was me too. Scoop up the courses. I'd get down to the second module and I'd feel so far behind, even though I was only in the second module. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
right? And I kept on scooping up courses and this and that, trying to find the easy way out. And I was trying to find the easy way of maintaining the standards other people had put for myself. I was afraid to let them go. I was afraid to disappoint them. I was afraid to fail. And it was almost to the point, if I don't tell anybody what I'm doing, they won't be disappointed.
Yeah, true. That fear's real.
So I wrote the book, Break the Rules. And it's really about, I know, it's really about how do you stop being the person you think you need to be so you
Mhm.
can be the person you know you can be. And it was in breaking the rules that I found was the secret to continuing that course, continuing that goal, whatever you are working on. Breaking the rules, and a lot of them are limited beliefs or what you think your mom and dad have told you or your grandparents, or societal, cultural is another big influence.
Yeah, that is so huge. If you can break that generational curse or whatever that is, right? Like it just is so incredibly freeing.
Yeah. And I know, like a lot of cultures, you would never disappoint your mom and dad. Like that is complete taboo, right?
True.
Because they don't want you to fail because then they feel other people will look upon them poorly.
Absolutely. So, like, what role do you think that your community or accountability play in your goal setting?
Huge, huge. And I didn't realize this until I was in that boat. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? I have all these ideas, all these goals, and it's that follow through. And it was, what the heck is wrong with me? That I realized who you spend yourself with, or who you spend time with directly impacts your confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that doesn't like it. like say that's a great point. It doesn't have to be the blood family is your community. If for some reason they sabotage all your goals and they're sabotaging everything that is growing, sometimes it just is okay to develop your own community with people that care about you and come alongside you and are supportive.
Yeah. And, and some of the hardest people to set boundaries with and limitations are your own family and friends.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the mom who's out there who has the proverbial, like it's not really, but I'm the proverbial mom. I'm out there, and I don't have a community. My partner moved us away. We're in like a new community. I don't really have any support. Or my family, you live near my family, but they're not very supportive. Like, how can we develop this supportive community?
So there's a lot online, which we've seen with the increase in social media since COVID. I don't even like saying the word, but the truth is, we really started to go online during COVID. And some of the people I know, Lisa, they live in really remote areas. It's 4 hours to the next little town. And so they're going to find communities online. Another thing is if you like going to the gym, find a community there. Go on women's night or go bowling. Do something you've never done before, even if it scares, can I swear a little? Even if it scares the shit out of you.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
it's always scary for the first couple of
Right?
times.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, it's not that bad after all, right? And the first time I went to the gym, I was so afraid. I was so afraid. And this is where that 5 minute rule had to come in. I'm like, I just got to go open the door. Okay, well, I'm in. Well, I might as well stay for 5 minutes. Okay, well, I'm on the treadmill, so I might as well do it for 5 minutes, right?
Mhm.
Turns out people were not even focusing or thinking, saying those thoughts that I thought they were going to be saying about me.
So, what was your big fear about going to the gym? What were you afraid of?
I was afraid that other people would look at me and be like, why does she need to be here?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And,
I have a fear going to the gym too, and it's like I'm gonna look dumb. I don't know how to use all those equipment. How am I like? I'm gonna look dumb. People are gonna look at me and go, "What is she doing? That's not how you sit on that piece."
or running like a scared girl in a scary movie. That would be me on a treadmill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
I
So
was,
like you have all these girls that are running next to you that are like gazelles, like whoosh, whoosh, and then you have me that's like a herd of elephants. The whole
my
thing shakes.
ponytail
It's like
going back and forth. And after we did, so it was high intensity interval training that I did afterwards, I was so sweaty that I didn't care what other people thought.
yeah.
Right? And that was more important. And it was doing the scary things that built up the confidence to keep going.
It
Like
was just
we
that
think,
5 minutes going into the gym, standing on the treadmill, walking for a couple of minutes and getting out. Like, ta-da! You
we
overcame
think
it and then building that, right?
once I do this, then I'll feel confident. And that is so wrong.
Right.
You gain confidence by putting yourself out there, by, I don't want to use failing, but by learning. Hey, it didn't work this time. What can I shift or navigate that it might work next time? And if you are a mom that has never set really good goals, you're going to find that you could schedule it 1 week. Something's going to come up. It's going to derail you. And so I was like, okay, well, what can I try differently next week? And it's trial and error until you figure out what is working.
Absolutely. So it's that balance between accountability and doing the things you promised yourself and it's extending yourself grace if something literally comes up and you're not able to do that.
You are not going to find accountability outside of yourself. And if you want to hold yourself accountable, you have to be willing to process all those thoughts and emotions that you work so hard to cover up or that you avoid feeling in the first place. You have to be willing to go there. And once you go to that level and it's like, oh, this is fear that I'm feeling. once you're able to get to that level, that's where the accountability resilience comes from.
Yeah.
It's not from somebody else saying, what did you get done this week? Like everything
Right.
was freaking rosy, because it's not. It's like, what came up? How did you deal with it? That's what accountability is.
Yeah. 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 And learning a little bit more about, like, if I tell myself for 5 minutes I'm going to go into the gym, and then my mother calls me and I'm like, oh, there goes my 5 minutes. I'm not going to do it. It's breaking that promise to yourself. So, it's going, saying, you know what? I am important enough for this goal or whatever that I'm going to say, Mom can wait. Someone can wait. I can go in and do my 5 minutes, because I know that it's going to build resilience and it's going to build a better habit long term.
Yeah, in my book, I talk about breaking the rules, and I talk a lot about setting boundaries.
So let's talk about your book. You have a new book coming out. Woo! Right?
I do. It's a different kind of book, which I'm really excited about, because let's face it, you go to the library or, library/Amazon.com, and there's so many books to choose from. And what I find is that a lot of the books are filled with fluff. They're giving more than what I needed in that moment. Sometimes I just needed, and along with my clients, when they were struggling with boundaries, setting boundaries, or navigating, time schedules or whatever, they needed something to go in, fix it, and get out. They didn't need to sit there for a week reading a book to find the answer. And so this book, it's going to be a mini book. It's about breaking the rules. But when you find that you are procrastinating, or you're in a rush to get it done all at once, or you need to get it done right, or things keep coming up derailing you, you can go right to that chapter, figure out how to deal with it in that moment, and get out and get going. So it's
it's like
kind of
your
like
own little manual.
Yeah, and the idea is it'll fit in your back pocket. Like, you can keep it with you. So that way, if you need to quickly go, it's like, okay, perfectionism. You go right to that chapter. And there's eight main chapters in it. And it's like, get in, get going, get out, take action.
I love it. So what inspired you to write it?
My previous client said, Stace, can you bundle all this up in a book?
Yeah.
They would call me when they were stuck, and it's like, I just need 5 minutes. Like, help me get unstuck so I can get going. And then also letting go of who I thought I needed to be so I can do the follow through.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So how does that tie into the other work that you do? Tell us a little bit about what kind of work you do. How does this tie in? Share a little bit back.
So by day, right now, I'm a hard hat, steel toe wearing woman in a construction site, project coordinating. And then in the evenings, because I'm still a working mom, and there's no shame. There's no shame. Some people love their job and still want to be an entrepreneur. And I'm telling you, guess what? You can be both. And in the evenings and that kind of thing, I am coaching other women that want to do something they've been putting off for so long.
I love that. So if I am 100 pounds, 200 pounds overweight, and I've always wanted to lose weight, are you somebody that can help?
So I don't specifically talk about like the food or the dieting or those kind of strategies. People already know what they need to be doing when they come to me. It's the follow through.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my expertise comes in. It's helping you stop stopping.
I love that. And we're going to have a link in the description below. So if you are interested in kind of checking that out, then you can definitely link on there, click on it, see the whole range of everything that you do. So who reads this book, and what impact do you hope it's going to have?
So who needs this book? There was a lot of mindset work I had to put in the book because I'm like, do I write it for one specific person or do I write it for anybody that has goals that are afraid to the follow through? So I did the latter, and that broke a rule because when you start anything, they're like niche down, be specific, and I'm like, this can apply to anybody. So I
Yeah.
broke that rule immediately with it. It is for anybody that has set goals that want to actually see them through.
I love that. So what was your biggest challenge when you were writing it?
My perfectionism. I kept on doubting myself. And this is where the strategic planning really comes into place. Like, even with, you can use strategic planning. It's a word that we use in business goals, that kind of thing a lot, but you can apply towards personal goals too. It's having that vision. And this is where most people set goals wrong. So having that vision, this is the ultimate direction. This is what you're going to focus on. So on this book, I had to keep that vision in mind. I want to write a book for anybody that has set goals that hasn't seen them through.
I love that. So when can we get our hands on this book?
When I spoke to my copywriter, she said sometimes in April. So my copywriter also runs a dog rescue in northern Alberta, or sorry, northern British Columbia in Canada. So all being well in April. So fingers crossed.
Yay.
Fingers crossed. She has high and lows with the amount of new puppies and dogs that come into her rescue. So any of my proceeds, a portion of it will be going back to their organization.
I love it. So what have we covered, not covered, if anything, that you just really want to share with the Unshackled Moms Alliance today?
If you want to achieve something you've never had before, break the rules of the person you think you need to be.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate that. We all have goals, and I think that we can learn so much from everything that you shared today. Like I say, if you want to know a little bit more about Stacie and where she is going, and that when that book comes out, we'll have the link below in the comments, and you can click on that and find all about it. Have a great day, y'all, and go grab that cup of coffee that's probably still sitting in the microwave, and we will talk to you soon.